I spent years thinking that I had an income problem. Turns out what I actually had was a second shift problem. Now, most people only work one shift, the one that pays the bills, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's the second shift that changes our lives. By second shift, I'm not talking about working overtime or picking up a side job. I'm talking about working hours that nobody pays you for. By the end of this video, I'll show you the simple shift that completely changed my evenings. For years, I'd work all day and come home exhausted, knowing full well that I just have to get up and do it all again the next day. It seemed that my life had basically become paying bills, solving problems, and just trying to maintain. Just doing what most of us are actually taught to do. I'd sit down at the end of the day, covered in paint, completely exhausted, too tired to shower, feeling like I'd worked my ass off, and realizing that my life really wasn't much different than it was 6 months ago. I honestly thought that that's what adulthood was supposed to be like. Now, I like what I do for a living, but I realized my job was maintaining my life, but it wasn't necessarily improving it. I felt like a hamster in a wheel. I was working to eat and eating to work. The thought of doing that for another 20 years honestly scared the hell out of me. So I started asking myself a different question. Now let me ask you the same question. What did you build last week? I'm not asking what you maintained, what bills you paid, or what emergencies you solved. I'm asking you, did you build anything that will make your life different 5 years from now? Because that's the question that changed everything about the way I look at my evenings. The people who change their lives don't stop when the workday ends. They spend those unpaid hours learning, building, improving, and investing in themselves. Nobody pays them to do it, and the rewards don't usually show up right away. Maybe that's exactly why most people never get started. Now I'd like for you to picture two different men. Same age, same job, same income. But every evening, one of them spends time building, and the other spends time consuming. He's scrolling videos, watching TV, basically waiting for bedtime. Now, there's nothing wrong with downtime, but at the end of 5 years, those two men are going to be living completely different lives, because those habits, good or bad, have a direct impact on your future. Now, everybody has different interests and different skill sets, and my second shift has changed a lot over the years. One thing that I wanted to do years ago was become more valuable to my customers. So I learned some basic handyman skills, and then I'd bring home scrap pieces of sheetrock and I'd practice different texturing skills until I got good enough to charge for them. Another thing is, we were up camping in the Rockies one time, and I found this really cool piece of aspen. I decided to make my wife a candle holder for our anniversary. Well, it didn't take long before people started asking about it, and that little project soon turned into a pretty successful side business. Most of us don't have a motivation problem, we have a maintenance problem. We spend so much of our lives trying to maintain the life that we have that we never get around to building the life that we want. We'll tell ourselves that we'll start tomorrow, we'll learn that skill later, we'll get in shape someday. And then we promise ourselves that we'll work on that dream when life settles down. But someday has a way of turning into years. And let me tell you something, at 56, I can tell you this, time has a way of humbling you. Pretty soon, you learn that you have a whole lot more yesterdays than you do tomorrows. That second shift mentality really never ends, but it does change. For example, today, this channel is my new second shift. Now, I'm still learning to film, write, edit, and how to tell my story. Some of my earlier videos, man, they still make me cringe. And honestly, I know I still have a long way to go. But you're watching proof right now that those evening hours can become something real. I'm not telling you to work another 5 hours a day or to give up your evenings. I'm just asking you to think differently about the time that you already have. Because a 1 hour day adds up to more than 9 full work weeks every year. That's 9 weeks. Imagine what an extra 9 work weeks could do to your future. Building skills, improving your health, creating another income stream. Becoming someone that your future self will actually thank you for. And something else surprised me. Once I finally started, I found energy that I didn't think I even had anymore. Because purpose creates momentum. And don't be surprised if you find yourself carving out more time to pursue your dreams. So let me leave you with this. Your job pays for today. Your second shift builds your tomorrow. And 5 years from now is coming, whether we're ready for it or not. The question is, what will you have built when it gets here? If you're rebuilding your life one day at a time, you're exactly who I made these videos for. And I'd love to have you join us. So subscribe and forge your life.